Hello everyone. As I have said previously, I will periodically return to some of the pieces I have written in the past, and today we'll be returning to the post I did on caring, kindness and compassion. Why am I returning to this post, you may ask? Well, the world can always do with more love. So without further ado, let's begin. This post was originally published July 3rd, 2020. Caring, kindness and compassion, the subtle art of giving a fuck. Because what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Forgive my poor rendition, but I am no Burt Bacharach. Modern people are constantly told to not give a fuck. I even parodied a book for this week's title. People love to not give a fuck, but still expect people to give a fuck about them. Now, I'm not ignorant of the time and place for such an attitude, but I think people use it as an excuse to continue poor behaviour and not reflect upon their actions and especially their impact on others. So, the million-dollar question is, why don't people care? And of course, the answer is very long and varied, and it's multifaceted and very complex. For example, it can relate to the quality or the quantity, or lack thereof, of the care. It can surround the nature of things or people subject to the care or lack thereof. The who and the how, if you will. In brief, people don't care because there is a lack of trust, communication, understanding, interest, and empathy. They are egocentric, selfish, judgmental, and or narcissistic. They are overwhelmed and have enough to deal with on their own. They are themselves struggling and are in need of care. They do not possess the emotional and cognitive capacity to do so, which we can tie to the previous point. They haven't had their needs and wants met. They have concerns of being taken advantage of, and or not being respected, or have their efforts reciprocated. Their lives are super busy, and or don't want to put in the time, or have poor time management. They feel wronged, perceived or actual, by the thing or person or group they are asked to care for. Whilst I don't expect the above list to be exhaustive, it does cover a lot of potential reasons. You may have also heard people talk of Eastern versus Western philosophy, which the East is more based around the idea of the group, whereas the West is more centered on the individual. Now, there are pros and cons of each style of philosophy, and that is a separate conversation in itself. But there are examples of us here in the West of focusing a little too much on ourselves and not enough on others. However, in defense, I think we need to practice a little more self-compassion. That's the thing with caring and compassion. It starts with you, and it is a great place to start. Then you extend out a common courtesy to others. Now, I'm not asking you to love and be friends with everyone, but being decent isn't too much to ask, is it? If there ever was a world expert on caring, kindness and compassion, then it would be the man on the left of that picture, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Cultivating kindness and compassion is the way to a better world. Nothing groundbreaking there, but it is surprisingly difficult to do. The Dalai Lama talks at length about this and educates on the ideas of forgiveness, trust, taking genuine interest in others, and engaging in open, honest communication with people of differing ideas as fundamental to creating a more harmonious society. People have to not want suffering, or reduce it at least, and he preaches that we need to change minds through compassion, not by force, and this is done through dialogue and education. People strive for inner peace, and we need a sense of belonging, a sense of community, a sense that we are understood and secure or safe. People want to feel cared for and loved. I mean, isn't that why we suffer through long marriages? Am I right, folks? Compassion requires you to think about an other, to put yourself in the other person's shoes, understand who they are, what are they going through, how do they feel, how have they come to be this way. Remember, it's about them, not you. However, you can't put yourself second. if you haven't put yourself first. I.e., if you haven't looked after and developed yourself, you won't be as good at caring for someone else. It may even be the case that you have somehow contributed to this person's suffering. And that's a horrible view to entertain, because you don't want to think that you have caused this person's ill feeling. Which is why most people don't like to think how they've added to someone's misery, especially if they love this person. We don't like to think of ourselves as potentially bad people. Compassion is a benchmark of a healthy and harmonious society. A bit of a longer post today, so I'll finish up with a couple of short points. To increase your likelihood and ability of compassion, reading widely and travelling are two excellent ways to go about it. To facilitate caring, kindness and compassion, it is good to live your life in the service to others, which opens up the opportunity for reciprocity. But beware the snakes who take advantage and or don't show you respect. I'll leave you with this thought. How do you expect people to care for something or someone they have no connection with? It doesn't matter whether it is family or friends or a community or an intimate partner or the environment or an industry. If people have no connection with something or someone, they are less likely to feel compassion towards it or them.